All right, let's open up the floodgates. All right, welcome, guys. I know some of you guys are still trickling in. Welcome, welcome. If you guys could do me a favor while you're trickling in, just make sure you guys are muted. There's a whole bunch of people signed up today, and there's always one person who forgets to mute themselves and are having some conversation, and everybody hears it. So, avoid the embarrassment and just make sure you're muted there. Welcome, welcome. Super excited about this one. I know that you guys are excited. There are a lot of people signed up for this thing, and it's going to be really good. So I'm not going to take up too much time on the front end. However, I do want to say, number one, I'm going to be keeping my eye on the chat. So if questions come up for you during, during this thing while people are talking, feel free to put those in the chat there, and I will, keep track of all of those questions, and we'll try to get to as many as possible. But we kind of literally have an all-star lineup for you today. We've brought on three just all-star operators who are killing it in this business. And they are here because they just want to share their experience and the lessons they've learned on how they've started their businesses and how they've scaled them to, just significant sizes. And they want you to be able to do that too. So that's why they're here. But let me give you a quick introduction to kind of the people who tie all of these three all-stars together. Because there is, joining us today is Nick and Tad from Startup, and they are Peter, are you there? Mute that thing. They are joining us here, and they have created Startup, and all three of these operators use Startup. So that's how all of this came to be. So I want to introduce you to Nick and Tad. You guys want to say hi and just fill us in just a little bit on who you guys are and what it is you guys do, and then we'll jump into this thing.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jordan, for putting this on. Really appreciate it. It's great to be able to bring all these people together to talk about something that everyone's very interested in, and everyone wants to grow their business, and that's what we're here for. Startup is a software platform for dry cleaners and laundromats and laundry service, laundry delivery companies. Really any kind of garment care business that wants to reach more customers through technology and also manage their operations better through software as well. I had Mark and David are, as Jordan mentioned, all on the platform, and so they can speak to their experience better than I can even. But we're happy to chat more about the software after the call, and after the people you really want to hear from get a chance to talk. So Tad's my right hand man, COO at Startup. So I'll let him introduce himself as well.
Guys, thanks for joining us tonight. I won't belabor any of the points that Nick made, but many of you guys probably already know Nick. Just a quick intro on me. I'm not a laundry veteran. I haven't spent a lot of time in the industry, about 5 years, but I spent the first 15 years of my career in brand management and general management, working for consumer packaged goods companies like Unilever. I had the dubious honor of managing a beauty women's hair care brand. So you can look at me and tell that that's not where I should have been probably. But I moved to San Francisco and had the wonderful opportunity of meeting Art Levy, which many of you guys may know, who started Laundry Locker in 2006. And Laundry Locker was in a progression where it was looking to really solidify with kind of a brand management and a general management come in and look after it. And I did that for a couple of years. So I was an operator at a high level for about 3 years, learning the industry. And then when we sold Laundry Locker, we had a software piece of business that we maintained, and we had about 70 customers who were using it to manage pickup, delivery, and laundry operations. And the year last year, Nick and I started chatting, and it made a lot of sense for us to merge the two companies together and bring our experience together. So, that's what brings me over to Startup today, and look forward to meeting everybody. Look forward to spending some time and sharing any insight that I may be able to help you guys out.
Awesome, awesome. Well, let's jump into it with these guys. Sorry, I'm trying to like track people down and mute them as they're jumping in. It should be muted automatically. But anyways, let's jump into it. And I just want to quickly just tell you who you're talking to, and then I want them to just kind of tell you a little bit about who they are and what their business is like. And then we want to jump into how they got started in this business, because I know a lot of you guys are in that spot where you're getting ready to get started or trying to figure out how to get started. So we'll start there, and then we'll work into how they built bigger businesses. Okay, so we have with us Mark, Ayad, and David, who are all doing business at different places around the country. And Mark, why don't you introduce yourself first, and let's start there.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Mark Blaskamp. I run a company called the Folde. We own laundromats and run a laundry delivery service. So we are in Austin and Houston, Texas. And we've got a whole bunch of vans and a whole bunch of employees, and we're going after this laundry delivery thing.
Awesome, awesome. And then Ayad, where are you at?
Yes, so we are in Los Angeles. I started in the business about 5 years ago, 4.5 years ago to be exact. I started with a laundromat and then grew it into a pickup and delivery business. And that's now our main business, essentially. And again, vans and employees, and our basically goal is to produce those widgets. In our case, it's laundry orders, and make sure that they look exactly the same every single time. That's basically our mission.
Awesome, awesome. And David, you here?
Yep. Hi, everybody. My name is David. I'm the owner of co-owner, and I can see actually my crew here, Luis Garcia and Blanca. I appreciate the support. We're based in Oakland, California. We've been around for about 3.5 years, and we started out like I'm sure many of you as a laundromat, and now we are exclusively a delivery business.
All right. Cool. And yeah, get those, Arthur. Thank you for throwing a question in the chat. Make sure you guys are putting your questions in the chat there. I'm keeping an eye on those, and also let us know where you're tuning in from. All right. So talk to me. Let's start with Mark, because I know Mark a little bit. He's been on the podcast a couple times, and I know kind of his origin story. But Mark, can you just give us a brief, snapshot of how you got into the laundry business? I always get asked all the time, why this business? It's so random, right? So why the laundry business? How did you get in?
Yeah, I wish I could give you a better answer. A couple college buddies and I wanted to service ourselves, so we decided to start it. We didn't own a laundromat. We didn't own any delivery vans. We just figured we could figure it out along the way. Since then, we've built up a impressive book of delivery business and are starting to get backwards into actually owning all the laundromats.
Yeah, awesome. And I know you guys are looking to expand pretty rapidly too, so that's pretty cool. Ayad, you want to give us a little just overview of how you got into the business?
Yeah, so my background is actually banking and international.
Thank you, sir.
And I basically came into this industry because I was working long hours and had a hard time establishing a work-life balance. I had no time for juggling the family responsibilities, home responsibilities, work. Felt stretched thin, and thought, I pretty much outsourced all my home chores with the exception of laundry. I thought, why can't I do that? If I'm struggling with it, somebody else might be as well. And so I set out to create a company that basically saves people time. That's what we sell. We sell time, and laundry is the vehicle that we chose to do that.
I love that. I think there's a lot of people that can relate with that, feeling stretched thin, not having the time that you want, the freedom that you want in life. And I love just the thought process of like, everything else is outsourced, but I'm still here doing laundry. So why don't I just do it full time? Basically is what you said. Cool. And David, why don't you tell us how you got started in this business?
So my background's I worked in a bunch of startups, um, and I was in between jobs. Essentially, the last business I was in was sold, and I had a little bit of time, a little bit of money. And looking back on it, this is probably one of those things that you do, midlife crisis kind of thing. You buy a Ferrari if you can't afford it, or a Mustang. In my case, it was, hey, let's buy a laundromat, right? So I told my wife, hey, and I'm really into this idea. And I remember my tech friends telling me, oh, this is interesting. And you're trying to, to come on the heels of Wash.io and others, and rinse and try to, um, you know, just, redo everything. And no, and what I wanted was something very tangible and something very simple. And it's almost accidentally that we got into delivery, where we started providing the wash and fold for an app called Laundromat in the Bay Area. And shortly after launching with them and providing this service to them, we thought, hey, maybe we could do this ourselves. And we launched with Startup. And about less than 6 months later, we were bigger than the company we were being outsourced to. And we ended up acquiring that business and folding it into our operations. And so it really was this kind of accident, but we've really taken advantage of that.
Yeah, I think the best businesses are the ones you accidentally fall into and just find out that you can thrive in that. I think that's really cool. Okay, so I want to get practical. So for you three that we just talked to, let's keep things very practical. And I want to start with this. I mean, there's a lot of people, and also welcome to, I mean, this is Laundromat Resource, but I know there's a lot of people here who are in the dry cleaning business too. So feel free to ask your dry cleaning questions. We'll try to hit as many of those as you can. I know that won't apply to everybody, but I know there's quite a few of you who are either in that space or looking to get into that space. So feel free to ask those as well. But I want to start with like just something very practical. Okay, so there's a lot of people on here who are looking to get into the business for the first time. So can one of you guys, or maybe a couple of you guys, give your best tip for somebody who's looking to start to get into this business? What do they need to know before they get into this business?
That's a loaded question. I'm going to take a stab at it.
I like it.
The way we did it was we started with actually processing laundry orders for drop-off clients, where the expectation wasn't as high. We're talking about each order being considerably much cheaper than if it were to be a pickup and delivery service. So the expectation was lower. And so we started with those orders, processing those orders internally and seeing what it looks like, what the customer feedback was. And that was our stepping stone. Of course, that comes with owning a laundromat. That was our stepping stone into the laundry pickup and delivery business. Now it's a more honed service. We're at this point a kind of a luxury good more than anything else. And so that's probably the tip I would share with somebody else starting out. Start small, service your existing community, your neighborhood, see how that goes. And it's easier to control something that's local than it is to control pickup and delivery operation. And then grow slowly from there. That's what we did. We started with my own vehicle, actually. It's a personal vehicle that I did pickup and delivery in, hustle. And then grew from there into the vans that we have today. So that's my tip.
Yeah, I love that tip because, and I say this a lot, but there's kind of two different starting points. If you got money, then you can kind of going right back to buying time. You can kind of buy time in your business and you don't have to start with your own vehicle and driving around yourself, right? But if you don't have the money to just kind of throw it all in there and start from 100, you can kind of bootstrap yourself into a significant business there. And I love that idea of just working your way there and earning your way there. And by doing that, you can build yourself a big business. Any other tips from David or Mark for anybody trying to get in the business?
I just echo what Ayad said, really, if you try to do everything at once, it's going to be challenging. But start small. This is one of those few businesses where you can start small and experiment and get a sense for what works and what doesn't work before going out and spending more money, taking out loans and so forth. You can run, a single person, laundromat or a couple can make a good living just doing that themselves, or maybe just having one or two employees on the side. So experiment, start small. Don't try to get it all right at the beginning. Maybe start, with like Aya did with the drop-off customers. Maybe you get a small list of customers that way. People are coming in. You ask them if they want delivery as well, and start that way. Use your own vehicle. And once you have, a handful of customers and you're confident in your product, then it's time to go to the next level, which is, the marketing and getting the word out. But yeah, again, this is one of the few instances where you can start small and build it up progressively.
Yeah, I think
I agree.
Oh, go ahead.
We too, we started in our own personal vehicles. Agree with everything you guys said. I think my tip would be that customers are looking for quality. I think the laundry industry as a whole tends to kind of be a race to the bottom. It's not always associated with high quality, high cleanliness, high trustworthiness. And I think the way it's trending now is customers are looking for higher quality service they can trust and are willing to pay that price. So certainly anybody getting into it now, price yourself at what you're worth, because it is a hard business to run, and customers will pay a premium for a good product.
Yeah, great advice. And man, because and Mark especially, I know that you guys started not only in your own vehicles but also with someone else's laundromat. So you definitely can start that way for sure. Okay, so if you're in that position, you're looking to get started in this business, feel free to connect with these guys because like I said, they've been there and they can help you shortcut things. There are questions rolling in like crazy right now. One of the big questions that came up was, how did you guys even learn the business? Was it like you just putting one foot in front of the other and just kind of learning by doing, or did you guys have mentors, or how did you guys learn this business?
There are so many moving parts to this business, much like any other business, really. It's not going to be any different. But the focus of when we started, our focus is customer experience. So from the get-go, it was really two things that we focused on. And you could really apply those two things to any other business. The two things are consistency of product, which is an attribute of quality. So making sure that the product is the same every single time, much like a McDonald's fry. It doesn't matter which store you go to, which restaurant you go to, it tastes the same way. It's the same fry every single time. It's the same Starbucks coffee every single time. So why can't it be the same laundry order, the same process every single time? So that was number one. And then number two, it was the effort that customers put in to get answers to their questions, to actually buy the product. So minimizing that effort that customers put in, to us, it meant loyalty. So I kind of knew that going in. And in every interaction that we have with customers is we have that in the back of our mind. How do we minimize the effort they put in to get answers to their questions? In some cases, we anticipate what their future questions might be. For instance, we have a subscription service, and it comes in 2 bags, 4 bags, 6 bags, and so on. A customer might ask us, at any given day of the month, how many bags do I have left for the remainder of the month? We can answer the question by saying you have 2 bags left, and that will certainly do the job. It'll answer the question. But what's another thing we can potentially answer that helps them make a decision? Because they want to make a decision really here. And so the next thing we would answer without them asking is, it's purely based on anticipation, is your subscription renews on X day of the month. Having those two pieces of information, they can now make a decision, and you minimize the effort they put in, and you establish that sense of loyalty. So focusing on those two things for us was key.
Awesome. Either of you guys want to chime in on how you guys learned?
Sure. I mean, I learned a lot from just reading, from experiences and learning from experiences of others who kind of, the trailblazers in this industry. The Coin Laundry Association, they have a forum. I learned so much on that forum. I've gotten into so many arguments with other folks on that forum. That's another story. In any case, it's a wonderful resource for laundry owners and wash and fold delivery operators. And you've got a lot of guys out there just who are just open to taking a call with you. And I was able to talk to some other founders of wash and fold delivery businesses, and this is not a sexy business we're in. Let's be honest. This isn't we're not Square or Amazon. This is real. I mean, we're working with very tangible materials. We're talking where there's water, there's moving parts, there's machines, there's things breaking down. And you'll find that a lot of the people who are in this industry are will be willing to talk to you. So, pick up the phone and reach out to them.
Hey, Jordan, it's Tad. Just echoing a little bit what David was saying, and may sound like a shameless plug for StartShop, but we're talking to hundreds of operators a week, right? And a lot of times they're in those conversations, they're sharing the challenges and the problems that we're having, or that they're having. And sometimes we're able to say, we're not on the ground day to day in the operations, but we just talked to somebody 2 days ago who's experiencing the same thing. Why don't we connect you guys together and you guys chat through it, and maybe you guys can work through those problems, or this is something that they overcame 6 months ago. And I find that this industry is one where people are really open and willing to chat and share their expertise, as long as they don't think that you're stealing their customers down the road. So I would say leverage your software provider, or your other providers. I mean, maybe it's even whoever's supplying you your hangers, if you can get hangers today. Leverage those relationships to help find people who can help as well.
Or, hey, we just built a feature to solve that problem. That's my favorite answer.
Exactly.
Well, what's the feature? I mean,
you tell me what the problem is, and we'll tell you what the feature is. I
love it. All right. Here's my next question for you guys, for the panel here is, is this a, whether it's on the dry cleaner side or the laundromat side, is this an if you build it, they will come type of scenario for the pickup and delivery, or how are you getting customers? Mark.
All right. Yeah. You want me to take that? We need name tag, something.
All right. I'll hit you names.
I think it is. I think there is definitely an element of if you build it, they will come. There's a certain amount of you have to have look like a credible business and be doing some base level things. But we spent a while talking about it a couple of days ago. I think demand is severely outpacing supply. So if you can get a good place for customers to place an order and have a reputable website and can get in front of them, I do think, it's not super difficult to acquire customers these days. I think it was probably a lot harder for all of us when we started. You had to then teach the customer what laundry delivery was and then talk them into ordering it. And now I think just looking at Google search volumes and things like that, people are actively searching for the service.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that there's demand for sure. And, we talked about this on the podcast, but I think there's only going to be more demand. Ayad or David, are you guys doing anything specifically to acquire customers?
Initially, we started by being a laundry company for everybody. And that was our demise, essentially. So we had to really hone our messaging, and we realized that we really cannot be a laundry company for everyone. We're a company that helps professionals who work long hours save time to focus on the things that they really care about. And so all our messaging changed, whether it's social media marketing, Google advertising, our blogs, messaging on the website, and email marketing. So those 4 to 5 pieces all reflected that. And by doing that, it just changed the business completely by focusing on the who part. And basically now what we do is between doing Google posts on our Google page and social media marketing, those are the 2 ways that essentially we have focused on to acquire new customers.
Yeah.
If I could just add to that,
Yeah.
I think there is a temptation at the beginning for any business to just, if a potential customer comes in and asks something, the temptation is to, oh shoot, we need to offer that service. And what I was saying is absolutely correct. You need to determine what it is, who it is you're trying to serve, and try to serve that person as best as you can with the least moving parts possible. In our case, we decided early on we're not going to do dry cleaning because we wanted to keep just a very simple product in place and system in place. And that was difficult, and it still is kind of difficult because we feel like, hey, maybe we're missing out on customers, but most of our customers now are coming through word of mouth. And I think it's as a result of us simplifying the business and really honing in on what we do well and focusing on messaging on what we do well, which is essentially laundry, getting that laundry to you as quickly as possible. And at the beginning, we used a lot of Google ads, and honestly, we were spending a lot more to prime the pump, so to speak, and get those people through the door, much more at the beginning than we are now. And that was just to get the first 100, 200 customers through the door. It gets easier as people know you, as people see your trucks, people start asking. As Mark was saying, the market is educated now in a way that it wasn't even a few years ago. And that's a result of, a lot of competition, but also just that the fact that people are home and are purchasing, are getting delivery, food delivered, are getting other services delivered. It's become much more mainstream, and we're benefiting from that now.
Yeah. Yeah, super good. And I think that's exactly right. Part of it is about getting established. Somebody asked why were you spending more early on? And I think, jumpstarting is, a big part of the cost because, it's pretty well known in any kind of industry. It costs more to acquire new customers than to keep your existing customers, right? So when you have no customers, you're starting from scratch. It's going to take time, it's going to take effort, it's going to take some money to start building your base to where that snowball can start rolling and you start getting the word of mouth recommendations and all of that. Okay, so we talked about getting new customers. Now, talk to me a little bit about what happens, from a customer perspective, what happens, when they find you. Where are they finding you? Are they finding you online? Are they finding you on an app? How are customers finding you?
So for us, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't use a
No,
name. That was
you
my
sure?
fault.
Yeah. That's Jordan's fault. For the most part, our customers are finding us on an app on their phone. If we can get you to download the app, you're coming back and you're not going to search. And I think we're here to talk about startup. I think that's one of the biggest advantages we have over local competitors that are using other softwares. Is that we have to fight for a customer once. We don't have to fight for them once a week every time they need laundry done. So I think that the ball certainly starts rolling downhill faster once you get more customers, like David said. But if you can guarantee that they're coming back, it frees up your marketing budget to experiment more elsewhere because you have that steady base coming over and over and over. I'm not sure if that was addressed at me, but hey.
David, was that you that was trying to chime in earlier? No? Okay. Ayad, where are people finding you?
Yeah. So listen, echoing what Mark was just saying, StartUp has made it so easy for customers to find us. So there's the app, obviously, that's the easiest way. There's the website. Through the website, they obviously can download the app. So that's, two birds with one stone there. And then the third way, which is the most common way that customers, for us, engage with the service, is through text. So they basically text the word pickup, simply just pickup, and then an order is placed in the system for them for the next available window. As simple as that. And they get a confirmation by text and so on. And if they have any questions, they can just simply reply to that to that text message, that confirmation, and say, hey, where do I leave my bags? And so that's for the further education or any questions or matters they want answers to.
Yeah, can you talk about that a little bit more? So let's say I'm trying to place an order at your laundromat since it's not that far from me, and I text pickup. I get a window, but I have a question, so I type in a question. Can you talk about the back end of that? Where is that text message going to? Who's responding to that? Who's interacting with that? What does that look like? Do they have a separate phone that they're texting back, or what does that look like?
Sure. So on us on the back end, starting off, that was all me. I wore all the hats. I'm the driver. I didn't fulfill laundry orders. Luckily, I had staff to help me with that. But I was the pickup guy. I was the customer service guy, marketing, sales, you name it, I did it. Now, luckily, we have staff to handle that. So our staff, they each have a cell phone. In our case, it's between now Elena, essentially, she's the main person. She's the operations manager who handles customer service. So she gets those inquiries to her phone, to her work phone, and she can, once she gets those notifications, she can log in to the CRM, which is StartUp, and answer those customers directly through a platform. There's a window specifically for text messaging, and answer those customers as the questions come through. It's a very seamless and easy process.
Yeah. Are either of you guys using the Mark or David? Are you guys using the text message feature, and are you using it as heavily?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, everything. Go ahead, David.
I called out two names that time. Oh my goodness, I'm like struggling.
Yeah, I mean, text is
Simultaneous, yes. Heck yes.
Yeah, text is it's amazing. I mean, you're basically just having conversations with people on text. It's the dashboard. I'm just trying to, you can, ask Nick maybe for a little the trial, but it's pretty simple. It looks like an email box, and you're going to have all the emails. You can have all the people sending in their text messages, and you have them in the order that they came in, and basically the system tells you if you've read it or not. Essentially, and you can reply, you can close it, and you can get right into that person's profile if they're requesting a pickup, for example, or if they have any questions, you just reply right there. It's seamless, it's fast, there's no email. That's where 99% of our interaction with customers take place. Text message.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah. Texts are the hub for us. We have got different folks at different times of the day playing dispatch with drivers, customers, and everything runs through, two screens. And there's a breadcrumb trail of everything. So you're almost quarterbacking a driver with special customer notes so that the customer's changing at the last minute because they'll never load it up in advance. And everything's one or two clicks away. You see everything in live time. The dashboard makes it super friendly. And Ayad says he does it from a phone. You got it right there on your computer. It's a text message, but you type it in, you get two screens up, you use a full keyboard. It is easy, it's fast. We have copy paste presets. So it's the texting's already fairly simple, and it's even simpler in StartUp when you have a full keyboard and it's on a larger screen.
It's interesting about the copy paste. We're adding saved messages, so you can just click a button and send a message that you've saved previously.
And one more piece, actually, to that same phone number that customers had sent the word pickup to and are engaging with our backend staff through, they can actually tell the driver where the bags might be or how to enter a facility. Because the driver, through their platform, which is a separate platform on their device, on their phone, they can see those interactions and respond to those customers. So engage with them through the actual phone, through the app for the Starship delivery, essentially. They can interact with the customer as well. So they can be directed by the customer as to where the laundry load might be.
Yeah, there's a couple key points where we'll go search for customer information where it's supposed to be stored. But our crews, whether it's on the production side in the laundromat or on the road with the drivers, one of the places they'll always go to find an answer if something's not there is they'll scroll back in the text message thread. And almost every preference and every, oh, I left it on this side of the garden or the back garage door or something is in there. So it's an extra buffer. It allows everybody to see full transparency into the communication process. So they're not, calling us. They can solve the problem for themselves with a couple clicks.
Yeah. Awesome stuff. Okay. So we've gone through a little bit of like, okay, what's your best tip for getting started? We went through a little bit about how are you finding customers. We talked a little bit about how customers are interacting with you specifically when they're trying to place an order. I want to go to the next step here in a second, but I want to take on a couple of these questions because I got a list that's like racking up and I want to make sure we're knocking some of these questions off. Maybe David, maybe you could answer this one or at least kick us off with an answer. Somebody had asked, when starting, should an owner start by working the business themselves and say maybe hire one other person to kind of help them that way, and so they can learn sort of the systems and processes that way? Or is it better to try to find one or two people with some experience in the industry and hire them in order to kind of kick the business off and develop the systems and processes using their experience?
That's a good question. I don't know if I'm going to be able to answer that. I think both are valid approaches. I mean, in our case, we benefited from so many other people's experience without hiring them specifically for our operation. But having worked for a company who was doing what we initially did through the app and in the delivery, we got to learn certainly a lot about them. I'm fortunate that my co-founder and partner is my wife, and she happens to be an amazingly good manager, much better than I am. So she was running the actual operations side from the very beginning and hiring. But sorry, I'm going off on a tangent here, but all this to say, you don't need much. You don't need to hire many people. You don't need experts. You need to just get started, and you will learn. It's scarier than it is. It's scarier than it. Okay, let me take that back. It looks scarier than it is. Just get started, and you'll gain confidence as you go along.
Yeah, and I mean, as someone who started kind of as the person, do you recommend starting that way, or do you recommend? I mean, obviously you went a little bit through the school of hard knocks there, having to go door to door and, doing all that. Is that something you recommend doing? Or would you, if you had to do it over again, would you try to hire somebody with a little experience and develop stuff off of that experience?
Man, that question is difficult because it really does depend. It depends on two things. It depends on your appetite for risk. And it also depends on how much capital you have to invest in something like this. And so for me, it wasn't much capital to invest. I did want to take the risk, but not much capital to invest. So we bootstrapped. That's the way I did it. It doesn't mean that that's the right way or the wrong way. It's just the way I did it. And so I had laundry fulfillers. We had production staff, but we didn't have pickup and delivery staff. And we certainly didn't have any, quote unquote, experts on how to process laundry orders. So we even built the process, the system for processing orders from the ground up. And now we have essentially a guide for how to process laundry orders so that every order is processed the same way every time. That methodology is important. That attention to detail is important. more than working with experts, it's really working with a team who is dedicated to making sure that that mission is achieved. So hiring the right people rather than hiring experts, perhaps, would be the way I'd like to go.
Yeah, I like that answer a lot. And I think, I mean, like you guys both said, it really does depend. There are perks to doing it one way or the other. And it really kind of depends on your situation. I think in this particular question situation, this person owned another business also. And so, it kind of, going back to it, it depends on how much time and effort and how much money you have to spend getting this thing started. Okay, so we talked through kind of this initial thing, right? Let's just put me, you guys have, found me as a potential customer. You've converted me. I've texted you my order. I'm ready to, do my first order. Can you, and maybe Mark, you can start off with this. Can you take us back to the back end now? Okay, I've texted in my pickup order. Can you talk to me a little bit about, what's, high level, but what's the process that goes on behind the scenes after an order is placed?
Yeah. Let's see, you guys want me to, I'll start on the driver side and work our way to the production side. So orders come in and they're always being populated in the app on our back end. So when drivers get there in the morning, there's a whole bunch of routes, there's a whole bunch of laundry to pick up. They can click a couple buttons, optimize it. They can even the routes out. They can move things around. They can reschedule things. And then drivers all take their tablets and their iPhones and they're logged into a driver app. So from there, they're able to notify the customers. They're able to contact the customers. They're able to see turn-by-turn directions. They're able to reschedule orders. They'll hit the road. I think the driver app is one of the most special things about StartUp. If they found a way to make that easy, it's incredible. Like I'm excited to see what they keep developing on the laundry side of it, because if it comes anywhere near what the driver app is, it's going to be really special. Driving is, once you're in the van, it's the easiest job you could ever do. The built-in protocols for built-in macros and replies when you're on your way, when you get there. There you can take photos. We call it our CYA protocol for our drivers. It's the Wild West on the road. So you got to document everything. You got to take photos of everything. It's all stored directly in StartUp. So they'll make their way through their route, picking up orders and documenting everything along the way, keeping the customers in the loop and keeping them happy. And I guess real quick, while I have the microphone, I think one thing we skipped over is when they place the order, it kicks off a whole marketing trigger that StartUp also integrates with it. Now it's sending customized emails for us. If it's your 6th order, they're getting a different notification than if it's their 12th. If it's their first order, they're getting a different funnel to talk them into ordering again. So that's another really cool part. And that kind of, for us at least, covers from clicking order on the app to driver heading to your house to pick it up.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge feature too, that sort of marketing side of thing. And maybe we can chat about that a little bit more here in a second. I'm just kind of picking you guys at random. So if I choose one, and I don't choose you, and you have something to say, let me know. But Ayad, I mean, can you talk me through? I mean, is your process on the back end pretty similar? I mean, obviously you're using the same software, but is it pretty similar to what Mark's doing? Or does it look a little different for you guys?
It is very, very similar. Perhaps the one different aspect is who handles because we have obviously the production staff, and then we have to set the orders for delivery so that the drivers see it on their end. So we've played with that bit a little bit. That's getting into the details, perhaps too much. In the early stages, we used to actually have the drivers do that bit to set the routes before they go out. Currently, we have one individual who's in charge of essentially setting the route for the drivers before they go out for the day. And the drivers can, by using the delivery app, obviously at that point, StartUp has made it so easy for them to follow the dots on a map to essentially hit up all the customer locations. But all in all, our process is very similar to that of the Fold with Mark.
Awesome. Mark, there's a question that I thought was a good one. David asked, so you said it kicked off a full marketing thing. Is that something that's in the startup software that you're using, or are you integrating that with other software or other systems of some sort? How does that work?
No, that's part of startup, right, Nick?
Right.
What was the question about? What was integrated?
Yeah.
Was it the
Active Campaign is integrated.
Yeah, no, active. It's a full.
Yeah.
Active Campaign is the email client, but Startup has a direct API with Active Campaign, so all the data talks between the two.
Yeah. So if there's one thing, there's a couple that I would really emphasize about Startup is that there was a marketing question earlier that I think I gave a higher level answer to, but a lot of these out of the box software, we're operators, we don't own the software, we use the software. They don't give you a ton of flexibility. They say you take it out of the box and it is as it comes. What Startup does is they allow you to customize all of that. So it's all based off triggers in the Startup platform. Then you choose the customer map and the funnel yourself. So some examples of that. Most out of the box softwares, when you sign up, they send you a templated email that is the same templated email for every customer. Maybe you replace your logo, maybe you change one color on the email, or when they sign up or place an order. For us Startup users, you can control all of that. So we don't have a cookie cutter welcome email. We have a totally personalized with pictures, with links, with descriptions, with FAQ. And then in Active Campaign, if they signed up, and say for us, it's after a week. If you haven't placed an order, we'll send you a follow-up. And the system knows they haven't placed an order, but they signed up a week ago. So it's not a customer support rep sending it out. It doesn't matter what the weather is, how busy you are at the laundromat, or if your attendant's in a bad mood, that email gets sent out. And so we build that funnel all the way out. So maybe a first order or first email after they signed up and didn't order is, hey, would you like us to drop off some bags? Then they still don't after 3 or 4 more days. We send them a 25% off coupon that says, hey, you look scared. Are you sure you don't want to give us a shot? If it's 2 or 3 weeks, we'll say, maybe this is new to you. Are you sure you don't want to just get started with sheets and towels? I get it. It's hard to trust the laundry service. What if we gave you 50% off and you just sent us your sheets and towels? And that converts like crazy. You would be shocked to see how many customers convert. They're in there. They're trying to get in and see what laundry service looks like. This is new to them. So they sign up for one, maybe a couple laundry services, and then they decide to do laundry themselves. And now we've got this drip funnel where they're getting reminded and reminded and reminded, where every other laundry service or all of our competitors just lost touch with them. They totally forgot. So that's an example of a welcome email series, but we have those types of series built out everywhere, integrated into Startup triggers. Again, I'm not a rocket scientist either, right? Like I'm not a software guy. I didn't develop the platform. It's very user friendly. But we have these set up for after your first order, prompting for a review and to refer a friend. We have these set up for after you submit a customer support complaint, following up to double check that they're doing okay. We have all sorts of these triggers built in. We even have them in our employment process now. When you sign up, getting employees is just as hard as getting customers right now, if not harder. You apply, we're going to follow up and really make sure you want the job and that you're going to come do it. So that was Active Campaign is a tool that integrates really well into Startup. And if I talked about, I have a short list of 2 things that I'd really like to hit today, and that's one of them. That if you sit down and take your time to differentiate yourself there by keeping in contact with your customers at any point in the process, be creative. We've got probably 15 of these automations running at any given time. You will convert and you will get reorders so much faster and so much more often than you otherwise would have, and definitely more than your competitors.
Right there, that was worth every penny you guys have paid to be on this webinar. And some, because genuinely, I say all the time, like, I think the least utilized tool of laundromat owners, pick up delivery, drop off service. All of that is email marketing, and having these email marketing funnels and systems kind of running at all times, and they're automated. You don't have to think about it. You're not relying on yourself to be consistent about it. You're not relying on anybody else. It's not taking extra time once it's set up. That is super, super powerful. So this is a good time for me to just say, hey, if you were listening to that and you didn't realize you needed to write everything he just said down word for word, tomorrow I'll send out a replay of this webinar. So if you need to go back through and listen to any of this, or if you missed the beginning or you got to miss the end or whatever, that information will be there. So that'll come out tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, that is huge. That's a huge opportunity that is out there for owners right now. David, do you want to add anything to, the marketing side of things or the customer communication side of things on the back end there?
No, I don't really want to add anything. I mean, I think what Mark said is way more advanced than what we've been doing. And Mark, I'd love to
It's
discuss.
so easy. You're gonna be shocked. We should do it. We should do it. You're gonna love it.
A lot of our processes are still manual, embarrassingly, but yeah, we do update. We don't have the automatism or automations that Mark has, but that's something that we definitely want to implement, and I do see how important it is. Just one automation rather than that StartUp offers to everybody is a reminder, a very simple reminder the day before you're supposed to pick up people's laundry. It's like, are you sure? We're about to come to your house tomorrow. Are you still on board, or would you like to skip? You can't imagine, like, without that text message, how many people would simply skip the morning of, upon arriving at their house. So it's these little details that the StartUp platform adds that really make this big difference, where you're not wasting time communicating with customers and trying to run after them and make sure they're there. So so Mark, please, I'd love to learn some more from you.
Let's do it. Do you guys charge a missed pickup fee? This is polarizing. If you're a laundromat owner on the internet, I want to stir some drama right now.
This is polarizing within the company, and I'm kind of conflicted myself on this. Yeah, we go in and out of this. We charge $10 technically for same day cancellations or no shows. Some people take it. Some people just go really insane and they go straight to Yelp. But I think it's necessary. I think it's necessary to create that culture of, hey, if we're coming to your place, this is money out of our pockets. If you're not going to be part of this, then this is a consequence. I guess that's not how one would want to present it to the customer. I don't know how you guys do this. Maybe you're more artful at it than we are. I'd love to hear.
No, we're not talking to customers right now.
Fight.
I do think we're talking about StartUp automations and missed pickups, and Jordan, I'm sorry, this is probably going to go all over the place now. I saw you trying to keep us on track a little bit, but I might been derailing it. Part of StartUp's customization, what we looked for when we converted to StartUp was everything needs to be customizable. We didn't want anything out of a box. If there's a field, we want to customize it. We might not do anything with it right now, but eventually we might want to. And I don't want to be locked into a software that we can't customize. And on that missed pickup fee, you can now in StartUp customize all the texts. And I believe most of those texts are able to be customized. And one that we're really looking forward to is customizing the missed pickup text, because it is so polarizing and customers feel personally hurt when we charge 15. I wish we could charge 100. When they see that fee in their bank account, not only have we warned them that this is coming, but we're going to include a link to a landing page that explains why we have to charge that. That explains this driver is a full-time W-2 driver in a fully insured van owned by the company. This is not an Uber driver. This is not some Joe off the street. Like, he has a lot to do, and you wasted a considerable amount of his time today. And so that kind of addresses the customization to it and the automated triggers and the ability to control whatever you want to. But yeah, I'm long on missed pickup fees.
I'm with you.
I smell maybe a Startup customer webinar where we can go through Active Campaign and for anyone that wants to see how that works and show how you guys are using it.
Certainly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, were you about to say something?
Yes, I'm a fan of the missed pickup fee. We charge $15, and what we do is, just because Startup makes it easy for us to follow through and see if we charged this customer previously. Our charging process is more manual than it is automatic. We don't give that we don't put that onus on the driver to actually charge the customer, which they could through the delivery app, simply by clicking somewhere there to suggest that this is a missed pickup and we're going to charge a fee. We do that on the back end, in the office, essentially, in the back office. And the reason we do that is because we don't want to catch customers off guard, even though we've gone through the email marketing and educated them on the fact that we will charge a missed pickup fee of $15. We don't charge it the first time around. We actually give them a free pass. That way, and we give them a warning, letting them know that next time we will charge that fee. And lo and behold, it happens again the following week, and we charge that fee, and we hear absolutely nothing from the customers because they would have been forewarned essentially, and they understand.
Awesome. Mark, are you done derailing us, or is there anything else
Yeah,
you'd like to
sorry.
talk about?
I'm on my best behavior.
Like best dog breeds or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Give
me another question. Give me another question. I'll get us where we need to go.
Yeah. All right. So, okay. Talk to me a little bit about, we're still on the back end here. Talk to me a little bit about how are you training, or are you training? How are your attendants or, your drivers or anybody, how are they learning the software and how to, the systems and processes that you guys have put into place? Are you guys training them? Can you tell me a little bit about how that goes for you, Ayad?
Yes. For us, this is a weekly meeting that we have every Monday. Used to be every Tuesday. I listen to the staff, and they like it more in the evening than they do in the morning. So at 7:30 p.m. every Monday, we have a meeting. We discuss how the previous week went and how the next week will go, essentially. So we plan ahead. And during those meetings, they're usually a half hour to an hour, depending on the day. We actually book an hour, and then we could finish early. But having that set schedule gives the employees an opportunity to voice concerns, ask questions, and it gives us the opportunity as management to do training during those hours. So in many cases, we would actually either bring a laptop to the meeting and go through the software, or go through an order and how to pack, fold, and essentially the process for production. So having that time on a weekly basis is been revolutionary for us. It established a sense of rapport between the staff, and it encourages sort of teamwork and mission towards a certain goal.
Yeah, awesome. And David, how about you? Are you guys?
In terms of just learning and processes and updating, face-to-face interactions, meetings, that really is the best way to connect with everyone and just and reset everything. So we're back. During the pandemic, it was kind of whenever we could. Now we're going back to a weekly schedule, like Ayad's team, and that's just a way for everyone to reconnect and get a sense of what's going on everywhere. Because for anyone starting out, things get much more complicated as you get bigger, and there is this moment where it's hard at the beginning to get the people in, and then it gets a little easier, and then you get it, and then boom, you hit a wall where you kind of suddenly have to jump from being a small operation, maybe with 2 or 3 people, to suddenly making that leap to maybe a 10-person operation where you got a lot more balls up in the air. And so, yeah, I'd encourage everybody to, stay in touch with everybody on a regular basis.
Well, that brings up a good question, because I think that, there's people here who have, pickup and delivery service or drop off service. How do you make that? And Mark, maybe you can kind of address that, because I've been watching you scale your business up since the first time you were on the podcast up until now. And I've been watching you scale this business. How do you know when to kind of take that next step, or when it's too soon? This webinar is on how to start, yes, a pickup and delivery business, but also how to scale it. And I think scaling is a pretty difficult kind of obstacle for some owners to overcome, because it's hard to know, when do you bring somebody else on board, when do you service a new area, those kinds of things. How are you managing that scale as you've been scaling up your business?
Yeah. So we did it the old-fashioned way for a long time, and there's a limit to how you can scale that. If one person's in charge of training, or one person's in charge of updating processes, when we really felt the constraints of scale, we switched all of our training online. So we keep a full database of training articles and videos online for our employees. It's a separate subdomain of our site. You have to have a password to get in there. So we'll still do the weekly meetings and have, management's key. You need a human manager, right? This is still laundromats and laundry. But you can really assist those managers and get 2 or 3 or 4 more times out of them by giving them the digital resources. So I think StartUp, as training on a software level, is relatively easy. It's a robust software for me and the management team when we need to be making it complicated and we need to be making changes. But it's very simple for the employees. The training on training on how to do the laundry was as easy as training how to use the software. We'd be millionaires. I think a lot of our focus is training on how to do the laundry. When it comes to the software, the mobile dashboard they just rolled out, like these people, our staff and laundromat attendants, I think I'll leave our staff out of it, but I think laundromat attendants get a bad rap for not being technologically inclined, not really giving a crap about their job. We've found the opposite, that all of our staff is on TikTok and Instagram and sending text messages. And with the new mobile dashboard in StartUp, we don't even really use tablets anymore. We are open up your phone, take a picture of the bag tag, which is a QR code or a barcode. The order details pops up. For loaders, press which machine you loaded it in and put your phone back in your pocket, right? You're not having to walk across, you're not having to log in or remember a website or do things like that. So that's for, say, an inbound loader. For an outbound loader loading into dryers, it's the same thing. Get done scrolling your TikTok, load the clothes into the dryer, scan the barcode on the dryer, or press the button of which dryer it's going into. It's like technology sounds intimidating, and it makes everything so much easier. I think people are more scared of the word than they are the actual processes. Like it's harder for your attendant to remember to run back and forth and log in here and write this down on this piece of paper, or only use the pink piece of paper for this order, but use the yellow piece of paper for that order. Like, they can press a couple buttons on their phone. And I think when owners get over that hump, they're going to adopt the software and really start scaling their business. So on one side of it, training will always be the manual part. We've done our best to make it scalable, but the software is incredibly scalable. The software by nature is scalable. And I think if you as an operator and you're getting into this, learn the software before you teach your employees, because when you learn it, you can really, really make their jobs a lot easier. And then you have a breadcrumb trail. They don't want to be accused of stealing jeans, right? Or messing an order up or forgetting to do an order on time. They don't want that. If you give them the tools to document everything along the way with literally less clicks than it would take to log into Instagram, like they're going to do it. And that changed the game for us, this mobile dashboard that came out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, the real question is, how do you train your staff to fold a fitted sheet? I think. So, I mean, I think that's what we really all want to know. So this is a question for all three of you. Maybe we can go Ayad, then David, then Mark. Can you give us like just rough numbers, roughly? What percentage of your business is residential versus commercial, pickup and delivery specifically?
Residential currently makes up about 90 to 92%, and commercial makes up the rest.
Awesome. Mark?
Yeah, we're about 90% residential, 10% commercial, and splitting it up between delivery and drop off, we're about 80% delivery, 20% drop off.
Oh, Mark, I don't hear you.
My bad. I was on mute. We are 75% residential, 25% commercial. And the caveat there is most of that 25% commercial is small businesses, sole proprietors, 1 to 5 unit Airbnbs. It's not commercial as you think of it as massive hotels and national franchise gyms. It falls in our business category, but these are small accounts.
Yeah, awesome.
This is the area I think where we can be competitive as business owners. We're not going to compete with the Bronze and the Pacifics who handle linens and towels for large hotels and motels. Where we would essentially be successful is targeting those smaller accounts that those big companies forget about. And I started a campaign back in 2020, early 2020. We're about to start the campaign. We hadn't just yet, to target those businesses. And then the pandemic hit, and that all but ended. So now I see it coming back. And so it was essentially 100% residential as of December 2020. And now I see the commercial coming back. And so I think it would be worthwhile to start targeting those clientele. And I like what you're doing, Mark, there. So it's 25% on commercial. That's a good amount.
Hey, Jordan, just a practical tip. One of the things that we did when we were when I was in San Francisco at Laundry Locker, we had a ton of excess capacity during the day, and we wanted to fill that capacity, and we were looking at commercial opportunities. And one of the things that I did was ask our drivers, as you're going from building to building or from residence to residence, start cataloging for me every single spa, every single gym, every single place that restaurant, and bring some of those back to me where you think some of those opportunities are. And then we had a salesperson who would go in and make some calls and try to win that business. And what that did was you're not adding businesses that aren't on routes. You're maximizing the value and the efficiency of those routes because your driver is already going past those locations. So it's a great way to build a list for how to add and how to target commercial customers.
Well, and what I love about that tip, Tad, is that so while Mark has his employees over here scrolling through TikTok between orders, putting those employees to work, whether that be, I'll just give you a hard time, but, whether that be your drivers who are out kind of sourcing stuff, or even in your attendants. Somebody gave me a tip once to say, hey, if you're doing, wash, dry, fold, or pick up and delivery, and you have attendants there and you have, down times, put those attendants to work and just have them make a call to some of your customers and just ask them, hey, how was your last experience? Was there anything we could have done better? And get some feedback. And that way, number one, you're paying for their time anyways, right? And if there's downtime, you can utilize them to, help improve your customer relations, but also you're getting valuable feedback from your customers, and you're making your customers feel heard. So if you are, especially if you're getting started, you're probably going to have some downtime until you get up to these guys' level where maybe they don't have as much downtime for their attendants. But, whether it's your drivers, your attendants, be creative in the way that you utilize them. Be creative in the way that you are, giving them extra things to do that's not necessarily high skill jobs. It's just like, hey, did you have a good experience? If not, was there something we could have done better? If so, was there something we could have done better? Simple as that. Thanks for your business. And that, quick 2-minute phone calls like that.
Adam, great idea, great tip, and it's something that we did. But at a minimum, do that for all of your first order customers. If you can't do it for everybody, do it for all of your first order customers. And generally, you're only going to have, I don't know, eight or 10 max a day, maybe. Those are easy calls to make, and man, they make a huge impact on having those folks come back, or you get to hear about the problems with the first order experience, and if you can streamline that, it's much easier to get folks to that second or third order.
Yeah, really good. And I mean, that kind of just leads us right into, what about customer feedback? How are you guys getting customer feedback, and how is that playing into your businesses at all? Ayad, you want to start?
Sure. So customer feedback comes in two ways. The app does make it easy in that every order, once it's completed, once it's processed and delivered, once customers log in back to the app, they get a pop-up that asks them to rate the order from 1 star to 5 stars. And if we get anything less than 5 star, then our operations staff reaches out to the customer directly, asking questions as to why this order was not a 5 star. So that's number one. Number two, we have we signed up to this emailing service that essentially sends out a survey once every 2 weeks, and customers can opt out of it. But it filters through the emails that we have, and especially for new customers. And it sends out a survey asking them to rate our service. And if they give us a 4 or 5 stars, then it takes them to essentially feeds into Google, Yelp, or Facebook. Anything less than that would come to us directly in a direct message, because that's an unhappy customer. We don't want them out there publicly talking about our service in a bad way. We want to make sure that they're happy with the service that we offer, so we contact them directly. Those are the two ways currently that we engage with customers. But essentially, we're in constant interaction with customers through the social media outlets, through the text messages on the platform, email, phone. So we're constantly in contact, and we know what the word is on the street about the service.
Yeah. David, what about you? Are you gathering customer feedback? Are you using Starship to do that? Are you using anything else?
Yeah, we're mostly getting feedback through text message in real time. Customers would, especially when it's fresh, they can text us. They know where we are. But like AS team, we rely on the rating. So for us, it acts as a filter. It's, if that person doesn't get a call from us, that person can potentially go on to Google or to Yelp and leave a terrible review with the hopes of maybe getting someone's attention. So we make sure that we get in touch with them as quickly as possible, typically by just calling them and trying to figure out what it is that went wrong and how we could have been better, and in some cases refunding if necessary, or the replacement, because we do lose things. That happens. But yeah, I mean, the trick is to really to act on just about every single feedback you get, and to create and to share that with your staff, so there's a sense of where the direction of the company and the direction of the product and the way that people are perceiving the product. It's easier to get it done before it makes it to Yelp and it's out there in the open, for sure.
Yeah, and I like that you said you use it as a filter almost, and that to me is crucial, because when you do get those negative comments, that negative feedback, the negative ratings, that's, especially if you get it before they go public, that's an opportunity to turn somebody who had a bad experience into having a great experience, and to become a raving fan of yours if you can address their issues in a way that satisfies them. And a lot of companies don't go that extra mile and address concerns that customers have, or even make them feel heard. So if you can do that, then you're way more likely to get that 5-star review on whatever other platform that there is, and also to get more, word of mouth reviews. Mark, anything you want to add to getting feedback?
Nothing that they haven't said. Shout out Enrique for the compliment in the chat. No, I agree with, I think David said it, is that we know well before at the end of every order, the customer's prompted with a how did we do within StartUp. That can, same thing as Ayad was saying, that sends them either to Google or any landing page you choose, or it sends internal feedback to us. But we know well before that because of the text messages. We know when they wake up on the wrong side of the bed. We know how their day's going. You're in constant communication with the ease of text messages in StartUp. Well before anything makes its way to a public forum, we know their temperature.
Yeah. Well, listen, guys, I mean, you three have not only just brought a ton of great information for those of us who are looking to start or scale our businesses. Huge thank you for you guys. But it was also kind of cool to be just sort of a fly on the wall and listen to you guys talk about with each other how you guys do business and how you guys can learn, from each other. And these are three of the top pickup and delivery operators that works with StartUp right here. And they're still learning, they're still growing, they're still helping each other out and helping each other's businesses out. And I love that. So if you're somebody who's looking to start or scale your pickup and delivery business, number one, connect with these guys. Nick from StartUp a little earlier put all of their websites in the chat, so you can go check those out, check out their websites, connect with them that way. But also just be connecting with other people in this industry. It's so important to be doing that. That was mentioned a couple of different times throughout this webinar. It's important to be talking to other people in the industry, to be learning from each other, and to be sharing, your lessons that you're learning kind of along the way. Because no matter where you're at in your journey, there are people who are just behind you or way behind you, depending on where you're at, that you can help kind of pull along with you. So guys, killer job. I want to just give a second. Number one, I'm going to put a link here in the chat in a second for anybody who wants to go check out StartUp, which is the software that all three of these guys are using. And if you want to go check it out or book a demo, I know, Nick and Tad, and it's going to be a no pressure thing, but go check it out, see what it has to offer. But Nick, I want to give you a chance real quick to just tell us what we need to know about StartUp and kind of bring us, to a close here.
Yeah, thanks, Jordan. I mean, I just can't say thank you enough to Ayad, Mark, and David for your time. And I mean, I learned a lot in this call, and I talk to you guys pretty regularly. So thanks again for that. I would just say, if you're looking to really commit to growing your business and making it stronger and more efficient and giving yourself more time and not having to be in it so much, then yeah, take a look at all the different softwares out there. I honestly think, we have the best, of course, I think that, but I'd say take a look at them all and make an informed decision. But our door is always open. We love to just put information out there because we think the more information out there is the better for everybody, and the more we can all kind of work together to increase this market size and grow this industry, then everybody wins. So I hope you check us out and reach out and say hi. I can put my email address in the chat as well if you just want to reach out. But otherwise, yeah, thanks for coming, and Jordan, thanks for having us.
Oh man, you guys are welcome anytime. Very, very cool. And let's chat more, guys. And I put the link. It's just startup.com to go check that out. You can see I'm checking out the homepage right now. There's a little chat bot that pops up with Nick's beautiful picture here, and David's on a video on the homepage. But up in that top right, it says "Let's Demo." So if you're in the market, you're looking to start a pickup and delivery, or you're looking to scale, and maybe you're finding some limitations with the software you're using, or maybe you're not using a software and you're doing the Post-it note method right now, might be a good time to check out that software, and it will give you an edge and help you scale your business. So Ayad, Mark, David, thank you guys so much. Thank everybody for joining us. Hopefully you got some good value. Well, I know you did. So, you guys are rock stars and can't wait to hear more about how you guys are scaling that business up. So appreciate you guys, and we'll see you at, whatever the next thing is, next webinar or whatever. So thanks guys. Appreciate it. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you.